Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Monday Morning Rant for Monday, the 17th of January, 2022. So, I've been doing nothing much more than gaming, and I've really got nothing much to rant about. So, I'm in a good place, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about why I choose to game on a PC but with a controller instead of using the mouse and keyboard. So, it's not that deep a story or anything like that, but basically, when I was probably at the peak of being a graphic designer and running the Australian in front, which was an Australian design community online, um, that was all consuming for me, and all I did all day long was just run that community. And I had so much passion for graphic design. But at the same time, I was in a quite serious relationship. And I was also in a relationship with marijuana. And I would basically wake up and get straight on the computer and just start doing design stuff. And I was running a studio at the time as well, with my partner, and I'd work my fucking ass off until exactly 5 o'clock. And 5 o'clock was it's just one of those things where I didn't want to because I get up so early, which I still do. It's 6 in the morning now, um, because I'd work from such an early time in the morning. I didn't want to do design work all the way through the night. I always capped it at 5 o'clock. But the thing that I would do at 5 o'clock would be go over to the kitchen, go over to my little cabinet where my bong was sitting there, and I would just punch cones. I would literally 5 o'clock is cone punching time. I know it's 4:20 elsewhere in the world, but for me it was 5 o'clock. And I'd punch cones, and then I'd sit back down, and I'd play competitive first-person shooters. Like I played Quake, basically Quake 1 and 2, um, and I would play Quake with my friends in my clan on the Aussie Mail servers. We were competitive as fuck. Um, and I would play that till I passed out, which would be probably midnight or later, every night. So I don't even know how my partner at the time put up with it. Hey, like it's just blows my mind. It's probably really hard for a gamer. If that, I've been called a gamer before. I don't really want to call myself a gamer, but I fucking love computer games. But it's hard. It must be hard for gamers to have great relationships. Maybe unless there's two gamers that are together, that would be easier for both parties to understand, I suppose. But I feel bad. I feel bad about that. But yeah, it was just something about it got to a point where, and I was a mouse and keyboard guy too back then, right? So um, it's it just got to a point where I started to feel really unhealthy about working on the same desk and the same computer and looking at the same screen from the first thing I do in the morning to literally the last thing I do at night. Um, it just didn't really make sense that work was work, and I love work, which is it's all confusing for me, right? It's gray lines. Everything's fucking gray line for me. But obsessive compulsive about design work. And when you're designing, your eyes are on. Your eyes are on. You are looking at the grid. You are lining shit up. I was cutting websites, doing code, and it's all small text, small type. pixel by pixel, zooming in and like really being quite tight about everything. And gaming was the same thing, because it's like first person shooters. You are on. You got to be on. You've got to be on if you want to come first. It's PvP. You're playing other players. You can't figure out how, in PvE you can figure out how the computer works, and you can manage to beat it quite easily. But with PvP, when you're playing other players, there's so much more unpredictability. I mean, you just don't know what the other guy is gonna do. Um, so yeah, I was just like punching cones, and I'd still be on. I'd be like crouched over. That's why my posture is so fucking shit. Crouched over and just like looking. My face was so close to the screen. I was just so intense. First person shooters are intense, especially PvP, when it's just short matches, but you've got to be on for every single second of that match. And yeah, and I got to a point where I just didn't feel right about working all day on a computer at the same desk in the same chair, and then come playtime, free time, I'd still be on the same computer, same desk, same screen, till I passed out at night. So it just didn't feel right. So at some point, I had a flatmate. It was I think that was 2014. And at that time, I wasn't gaming so much. And he had a console that was better than my old console, so we installed that, and he had a better TV too. I just wasn't into that shit. I don't even know what I was into at that time. I could probably look it up on my blog, but it definitely wasn't gaming. And he would play his PlayStation games or whatever on it, and every now and then I'd have a go on his controller. And I'm not new to controllers. I mean, I as a kid, I grew up on Atari 2600, and I'd play that at 6 in the morning as soon as I got up. And then I got into other consoles too, like Mega Drive, and I got into Gran Turismo on the PlayStation and played that on a controller, as well as a steering wheel setup, which was great fun. But basically, after that sort of smoking cones and Quake, I never really went back to playing games on mouse and keyboard. So this guy, he would sort of just, entice me to have a go of the games that he was playing on controller, on the TV, on the couch. And I couldn't do it, especially when he was watching and I'm sitting there during some fighting bits of some games where you got to actually aim for the head and aim to kill people. And I could not do it. I could not aim with a controller. But at some stage, maybe it was a few years later, a good mate of mine lent me his PC, because we were hardcore into a game, PC game called The Division. And for some reason, I didn't go to mouse and keyboard, and I didn't. I did play it on a small screen, but I didn't really play it on a desk. And a few years after that, 2017, I decided to build my first PC, and I went all out. I spent $7,000 on the thing, and it's just like, I just went all out. I've never been a PC guy. I've always been a Mac guy. Even back in the day when I was gaming hardcore on mouse and keyboard, I was on a Mac. I was that guy at the LAN parties where every other person at the LAN party was on PC, and I would bring along my Mac, and people would laugh at me, and I'd have to interlace my screen just to keep up with these guys. But man, I could play, and that shut people up. But at the same time, why make your life harder for yourself? Why don't you just get a PC? So 2017, I finally built the Zen PC. And I'll link that below. It's still going strong. I mean, I had no idea PCs could last that long. I always thought of PCs as you buy one, it works when it's new, it gets a virus, and within a year you've got to buy a new one because the old ones just turn to shit. But hey, I spent up. Got a 65-inch TV that could do 60 FPS. And I basically set out to make a console killer. So the concept was still there. The concept was I used my computer at my desk that I'm sitting on now to do work. And then when I'm not working and I want a game, I hop off this desk. I hop off this chair. I stop looking at this screen. I move over to my couch over there. I move over to my couch, turn on the TV, turn on the PC, and play games. So that's the main concept of me using a controller was to basically get off the mouse and keyboard, which I had been using all day for work, and then to game elsewhere. So that is the primary reason. And I have to say, like, it's taken me a long fucking time to get better at using the controller, but it's quite second nature to me now. I still think that mouse and keyboard, and especially with first-person shooters and player versus player, man, I get stomped on. You know, if I do come first, I usually type in chat, "I'm on a controller, motherfuckers." And there's something that feels good about beating someone on a mouse and keyboard as a controller player. But I'm realizing by watching some YouTube videos of people who do other content creators and stuff that play the games that I play that choose to use controllers, man, there are levels, right? There are always levels in life. And these guys are beasts on a controller. So I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, and I've always dabbled with PvP, but I've never been that great at it. There are a few titles that you can earn, seals they call them, and one of the seals that I was chasing involved a few triumphs that you needed to compete in player versus player PvP for, and they required headshots. They required 3 bow kills in one life, and every single shot had to be a headshot. Sniper kills, man, just weapons that force you to literally aim for the head and to not die. And I sat there for the whole of last week and just kept trying to get these titles. And I have to say, I got better. I got so frustrated, but I got better. I've changed my complete controller layout. See, it's funny because when you get a controller and you instantly start playing these games, you realize the disadvantage is in not having enough buttons on these things, and also having to lift off the thumb triggers in order to jump or reload and just weird shit like that. And I figured out quite a long time ago, I can't lift off the triggers to hit buttons because it's such a huge disadvantage. So the good thing about these new controllers, I'm using an Xbox Elite controller, is you can remap buttons, and there are a shit ton more buttons on the back of it as well. So I've gone to a stage now where I am not lifting off the thumbsticks at all, and it allows me to aim better than anybody on a controller with the standard layout. And it lets me jump in the air and aim, and I can't quite spin around 180 and shoot someone right behind me as quickly as a keyboard and mouse. That's just never going to be possible on a controller, and it's a huge disadvantage. But I've gotten it to a point where it's as good as it can be. And so, yeah, I was at it. I was watching guides on the internet on how to get better, even though I've been playing it this way for so many years now. And through a combination of just trying all week and then using some of these settings to lower my sensitivity down, to get the sniper kills, man, I have to say, I finally got the I got the seal that I wanted. And it's really weird how games work. It's like an achievement, but it's not really an achievement, right? I mean, it's just like, at the most I can do is take a screen grab of it, share it with my mates. I might put it up on my blog. Oh. Yay, hippie, hooray. I have a bullshit fucking title. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to feel guilty about it anymore. I don't want to feel embarrassed about it anymore. I've been called a gamer by some girls that I've seen in the past, and fuck it. If that's what you want to label me as, I don't give a shit, really. Um, so so yeah, I have the title, and I'm happy about it. And I think whenever you're learning something, right? Whenever you're getting good at something, get good. Whenever you get better at something, I feel good. So yeah, I don't know. That's the story. I don't really have anything more to say. I think part of it is being stubborn with wanting to make my life harder for myself, and using a controller on a PC. It's under scrutiny, you know. A whole lot of people would not understand why would you have such a powerful PC and not use it for Photoshop and what you do for work. It'll crunch, it'll destroy my iMac. But again, I don't want to game on that machine and also work on it. So I'd prefer to sit here at my desk and do my work, and which at the moment is editing photos and making these little videos on Monday. And this is my zone for being productive. And then when I move over to the couch, I'm being unproductive, but I'm also being productive. It's not just like I'm sitting there. I'm still chasing these titles and shit, and it actually feels good to have this title. It says to other people within that game that I put the hours in to get there, or that I'm decent enough to have earned that title. And why that fucking means anything to me, I have no idea. It's stubbornness. It's. There's no logic behind it. But games are something that I've been into my whole life, and they've gotten good. You know, I mean, from the Atari, where it was all just block graphics, to where they're at today. I have to say they bring out a full range of emotions for me. Like, there's no doubt about it. I have cried playing story driven games. I've felt every emotion that I have playing games, and I love it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It is like a driving force for me right now. Is the reason why I get out of bed is to game. It's better than not having. It's better than not having anything to wake up and be excited about. I tell you. I'm still shooting too, of course. Shot with Viv last week, and I'm still busy running the Patreon, and that's great too. But I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. Have a great week. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See yous.